Well, good morning, everyone, and good afternoon and good evening, according to all the places that you're joining. It's really great and exciting to have you all here and showing a little bit more deeply and thoroughly what we do, all the activities that a trusted family are being organized and so on a monthly basis and everything. And today we're going more specifically actually on the product directly. But actually, this kind of demo is something that we do periodically. So in case maybe you're seeing the recording at a later stage and you want to just review it or so on, you can just find it here at the community level here on our the website that you're seeing here directly. Actually, freshly released a couple of months ago. And if you go here, you delve deeper into events. You can then see, see and all the different activities that we do. We organize periodically webinars, not only product based, but even like on some more broad concept regarding, family business governance, or in this case, there's not one upcoming with another family on next gen engagement. So the real role of philanthropy on next gen engagement. And then as well, you can see all the past webinars that were taken. There was some interesting one more recently done with the Moulier family, or some others regarding, how to drive the family success with a digital hub and so on. And it's always very, very interesting. And like some of them, they're very insightful and brings direct experience from other family businesses. And then as well, this is more for our clients. We host as well like these TF Connect sessions where, there we gather all our clients and we kind of have them, exchanging on certain specific topics. And they're very insightful sessions, these ones as well. And the last one was actually regarding how to making more engaging, getting like the in-laws and the non-shareholders more engaged with the family and so on. So always very interesting activity to be organized by on our community side of things. And then as you can see here, for those that are less acquainted, just gonna give you a brief introduction about Trusted Family for those that are less acquainted with it. Basically, our company is kind of structured onto three key pillars. The first one, well, is the platform, so Family OS. And in this case, is what we're gonna see in a couple of minutes. You can see like really if you go to scroll on our website, you can really see like what we do with the families directly. What are the challenges that we try to tackle? Security when there is fragmented communication, when there are too many tools that are being used by the family office or by the family side itself. And it's always super, super, super interesting to kind of delve deeper into these topics. And feel free as well to reach out by booking a demo directly here if you want to, delve deeper over a certain topic or discuss or learn more. And as well here, you can see, there's quite a lot of activities that are being done on through the platform. And, like our platform helps really giving access to all the family members according to the role that they play for the family and so on, to the relevant information that they need to do. And then, you can post things. There are signatures, digital signatures directly from the platform, chats and so on. All some features that we're gonna see in a couple of minutes. And then basically as well, the second pillar is the amazing family success team, and they're the one actually who helps the clients making a successful project over the platform. So because many times we structure the platform and so on, and then they help basically the client into organizing, structuring it, creating the platform, and making sure that they're using it well in a sort of way, and help them maybe building a little content strategy and so on how to use it. And they're really helping basically the client onto making a successful project with it. And then they're as well the ones, family success team. Thank you very much for all what you do, because they're ones as well who organize these TF Connect sessions together with all our clients, and they're super very, very insightful sessions, those ones. But let's delve deeper a little bit into what we do. Trusted Family, I don't know how much you know of it or not. Basically, it was a company that was founded by these two guys here, Edouard Thyssen and Edouard Janssen, back in Belgium. And, they're next gens from two large family businesses. And back in 2007, they kind of created the product for their family's usage. And things worked out very well. And for them, the objective was really, to organize the communication, stop having files scattered everywhere, having all the different stakeholders that are around the family collaborate and organize and communicate in the most dynamic and best way ever by using a digital product. And then things work out very well. And so like starting from the closest family and friends, then they started more and more growing the company, and this really led us today to working with more than 200 families at a global level, like with a full coverage. And it's very interesting because there are many different families with cultures, experiences, and like as you can see here, you can see kind of an ecosystem that is of a family. And each family has its own ecosystem, obviously, with all the relevant stakeholders. There are families that there are 800 stakeholders around the family, but there are even families that are just 5, 6 stakeholders. Maybe the entrepreneur with his little next generation, and then his advisors, for instance. And they're all different ecosystem. And the key idea of the product itself is really to be here at the center and having all the different planets that are part of the ecosystem collaborate in a seamless way, share, collaborate, sign documents, vote, and so on, really in the most easiest way, and adapt really to each governance structure of families. So here, this is what we call it kind of the nowadays, many families, they are in a situation where they have a beautiful mess because they have many different emails, platforms, drives, and so on, a lot of different tools that are being used. They work in a sort of way, but it's not the best kind of seamless experience many times. And many times one has to look for a document, has to search for another one, has to reach out to the advisor or to the family office. So where was that document and so on. And the collaboration there is not as the most seamless and most efficient one. And then there's always a threat of security, because when one is using many different platforms and tools, the lack of security increases there. And that we've seen actually with a lot of families that we've been started working with, and they really want to have kind of this centralized hub, the digital hub, really to kind of having everything in one place, secure, well stored, and so on. And now, but let's delve deeper onto the product. And actually, as you can see, there are many out there. Feel free to reach out. There's a chat feature there where you can ask questions and so on. And I'll be able then to review them and answer them towards the end of this product demo. And delve deeper here on the platform. This is the kind of the landing page of it. In this situation, we are looking at a Wayne family office. Obviously, it's a fictitious one. But we are looking at a family office that is working already with a family that has already some complexities in terms of structures and so on. But just take it more to look at the features, this demo, because we work again with families that there are 5, 6, 7 stakeholders around the family, and all the way up to the large families with more than 600, 700 stakeholders around the family. So we really have a really broad coverage in terms of clients. And here you can see really the landing page on the left. You have this fixed banner with here there's a set of personal features and so on. And then here you have the concept of spaces, so which I will dive deep into in a few seconds. And then here at the bottom, you have some settings and so on. And then at the center, you have the flow of information of what competes to you kind of as a user. And so in this case, it depends from all the spaces that you're part of. And what I mean by spaces, basically, spaces can define it kind of the backbone of the platform itself, because it's really the key part of structure for the platform. And, according really to the role that one plays for the family, so to the hat that one has, you will have accessibility to some spaces and not others. And then, for instance, within each space as well, you'll be able to do certain things and not others. And this is really according to the granular level of permission that is being given to users into a platform. So just to bring an example, imagine you're for instance, an external board member. So you dial in on the platform and so on. You will only need to see the existence of this space here and not the others. And then you will log in and see and be able to do certain type of things directly only on this space and not the others. And as well, in parallel, let's say I'm an next-gen member, probably I need to do the next-gen educational path maybe with with the family advisor and so on. Then what I do, I log into the platform and I see only this space and probably the family space, because it's the one where maybe there are some, more playful, or there's more engagement being driven there. So, whether history of the family being shared or many quizzes regarding the family and so on. According, then each family obviously tailors the level of spaces and the type of communication that is happening in the spaces to their own way, obviously. And then obviously this is all customizable. We've seen families that they just have the shareholder space and maybe an investment committee, and then the spaces with their own advisors, so kind of wealth, tax, and legal. and very simple situation. And as well, other families that maybe they have like several companies, several boards that they're part of, different committees, so family council, and so on. And so they all have it like all replicated here. And then what, as you can see here, one in the announcement section sees basically all the different type of information that are being shared in the spaces that one is part of. And so this helps really being and staying updated to what is happening on the platform, to what is happening on the family, and to each space basically. And then here as well, like for the, this is actually nicer for, especially for the large families, we updated this recently, this concept of birthdays. That, so it keeps it as a reminder for, you know, when someone's birthday is upcoming, or whatever is related to birthdays, basically. So delving deeper into one space, there are several type of activities that one can do. Let's take, for example, this one, the board space. In this case, you can see here there's some shortcuts to several kind of folders or external links or documents that are part or stored in the platform. And then again, you have the flow of information. And in this case, you know, there are different things that are being shared. Here you can see maybe we're at the board level, there's a monthly report, that this, because this was shared both in the investment committee, but needed to stay as well in the board level. So you can see there are some files that according to the setup, you can share them as well across spaces. And then into each, you know, each document as well has a different set of features related to it. So first of all, as you can see here, one person still needs to sign this document. This is because we have our own internal digital signatures. And so, for instance, imagine you're a family office needed to receive the approval by signature by 3, 4 family members. You can send it out and, you know, ask directly digital signature in this way. And if someone is still missing, you know, you can send a reminder, or maybe you reach out the quota, the quorum, and so you can just complete it and say that the signatures are complete. Then again, here you can see as well another feature, which is the watermark feature. And this is something that, you know, helps into monitoring the security level of things, and came actually from some families that they were saying, you know, I have external board members that they're there maybe for 5, 10 years, and I don't want them first to download documents into their devices. I want to keep everything secure into the platform, and I want the people as well, board members, or as well, you know, the next gens or whatever, to take screenshots and share them around. And so that's why we created this kind of rule where you can, you know, activate the prevent download and activate the add watermark, but as well, you know, one can remove it if one has the permission to do so. And, you know, you can change this easily. And then if you go here on the audit log, you can really see, you know, here you can see that at the 10th of April, I just disabled and allowed the download and so on. So this helps really, you know, maintaining and understanding what's the security level of things, who changed what in terms of security settings and so on. And then here you have, you know, a little section where you can take, while maybe a document is being discussed and so on, you can take your own private notes and whatever. And basically then if you have to share the screen, you just make them private, you discuss about the document, and then you can go back here and keep on taking notes basically. Then shifting forward actually from the activity side of things, we can go on the events, because each space is obviously for families and family offices is about creating meetings, events, and, you know, gathering people together. And in this case of the event section, we know how important it is as well for families to see maybe 2 years ago who was there at that meeting, what documents were discussed when an acquisition was made, or for family office, you know, when a new investment was made. And so that's why we keep all the upcoming events that pops up here. And then there's even all the old and past events. And then when one delves deeper into the event section, there are a whole set of activities that one can do. But actually, going back here as well, you can have the calendar view in this way, and you can see all the upcoming events regarding that space, or people that are part of that space. And actually, as well, for many of our clients, and I highly suggest, actually, if you don't have it, the actual clients, you can directly, you know, make the calendar sync with your own Outlook, Google, or Apple Calendar. So in this way, you don't want to have you know, just another calendar to be managed and so on. You can easily and seamlessly make the calendar sync, and in this way, you see all the relevant events from Trusted Family app directly into your external calendar. And then, you know, whenever an event is created or something, we're not sending out the information there. Maybe you receive a notification if you want to activate it, or maybe, you know, today we use a lot the phone and so on, so you want to have, and you want to see the platform directly from your phone. And if you can see it actually in this way, this is not exactly how it looks like, because I'm doing it now from the web, but still, like, it gives a feeling of how the platform would be actually from mobile. And you see here, the spaces, you see here all the personal different features. And then you go here. Actually, I didn't mention at the beginning, we have the chat, and this one as well. You can do it directly, seamlessly from your phone. Today, chat is all about like being on the phone and just giving a few messages around, sending a few messages around. And then, each space as well has its own chats as well at an event level, and direct chat with other people. And this way, you can stay in contact with other collaborators around the family business or other family members and so on. But let's delve deeper now where we left it over at the event level. So if we delve deeper here and into one event page, for instance, I was mentioning, okay, that's a whole set of activities that you can do at an event level. Event, first of all, is about meeting multiple people, obviously, and so on. And many times, especially when you're dealing with family members or across with a large group of family, it's always tough to find the right time and date. So that's why we created this kind of voting tool where you can propose several different timings and then get people to vote and so on, and then find what is the best time and date to meet, basically. Then obviously there are all the classic information regarding the event. Then scrolling down, obviously event and meetings is about having a package of documents or something to discuss. And so in this way, that whole set of different things that one can use and post as an event pack. So you can have, maybe an agenda document that can be posted directly on the event. And in this way, for instance, here, just to bring an example and for the experience of how one can use the event page, you can see that I cannot edit at all this document. For me, it's a view only. And so this actually allows really well, for certain events, maybe you want to have someone shadowing the events, or the next gen maybe is about to enter into the family business, but they're still not that yet there. They're missing 1 year, but you want to start having them doing some shadowing activity for the boards or for the minutes or review, certain documents. So you can give them that permission in the sense that they can see the documents, but they cannot edit, they cannot do anything. And then obviously when you're doing meetings, it's as well a concept of assigning tasks, assigning to-dos to people. And many times, especially with family members from a family office perspective, you have to keep track of that people do what they have to do sometimes. And so you don't want to have like always ring the phone, write other emails and so on. So that's why we started creating these action items, and these action items actually are a way to you assign a to do to a certain person to at a certain date and so on, and then that person will have their own to do section where they will receive basically here where they will receive directly the relevant to dos that they have to do. So in this case, for instance, I can see that I have to review something for the board. Maybe I have to refine the budget for the shareholders, the space, and so on. And this helps, bringing that collaboration and that kind of, good relation and good working relation between family office and family members and advisors or collaborators around the family, basically. Then going again back to the event page, there's other factors, other things that one can post as well, apart from seeing obviously who was invited and so on. If being in a meeting, it can be as well about voting over something. And so we created this form feature where you can create whatever type of forms, question. They can be open-ended, multiple choices, check boxes, numeric questions, and so on. You name it, basically, but you can create these forms and you can get people to vote. So in this case, it's about a budget, or maybe it can be gathering the votes for an acquisition or so. And then, people vote and so on. You can gather the responses, and then you can export them directly here and make a PDF out of it and then posting it on the platform and like get people to sign it. And at that point, you have it like full approval, basically. And then again, there are folders that can be posted at an event page and so on. And this helps, again, having material for the discussion. Then going forward, each event in each space comes with its own file section. So in this case, we're at a board level, you have different folders. It can be about M&A activity, it can be about company statutes and so on. But let's go maybe on a family space. Here's again, you can see that compared to the board level, to the board space, here everything is a bit more maybe playful, a bit more informal. And it's about like, the family history, the photo albums, vision and values. There are many different ways that family uses these spaces actually. And then here maybe the story of the founder. This is something that many times is something that drives really well the engagement and make sure that the next generation stay attached to what the family business is and to the values of the family business. But what I was saying is in terms of archiving, so each space has its own kind of archiving section, and in this way you can see again here the summer photo contest, for instance, the family education center. So obviously each space will have its own style of communication. And then, we realize obviously that a lot of families, they already work with their own drives, and a lot of family offices specifically, they already have their own structured drives and so on. So we are not immediately replacing those, but let's say you want to post one of the documents that is stored there directly here on the platform. How do you do that? Well, we created this concept of bridging. And so bridging is a way of, creating a window from the platform over an external document. And so in this way, you can see, let's see if now it uploads, but it's a way of seeing basically a document. So whether it's a Google Sheet or a Google Doc, or something external to the platform. As you can see here, for instance, this is a presentation that I stored externally and so on, but I can work from it here directly on the platform. And so in this way, you can really see easily. Well, in this way, I have a view-only permission, but it's really a way of collaborating continuously over documents that are stored externally. And then each space has its own member section. And here you can monitor all type of information, and you can as well customize who can see what type of information. So there are certain level of information that can only be seen by platform owners. And actually, this is a concept that I should highlight. Platforms has its own platform owners, which are the people that can change the settings of the platform, the security settings and the background settings and so on. And then each space as well has its own owners, which at least you need always at least one owner for the platform and one owner for each space. So that is the person kind of who can set up the security level of things. If you look here on the modules, there are setups, who can create events, and here you can see owners only, or maybe owners and all members, and who can maybe upload files, create new folders, and this who can post new activities and so on. So this makes you understand really how granular it can be, the level of setup and of permissions over a space. Then here we have a login activity for each space, so you can monitor really again who changed the permission over the space and so on. But again, going back here, then there's a whole type of information that one can store actually. And, here we are at for each profile, and so here we are at the family space, and you can see basically it's everything a bit more family related. So it's the address, the branch, the family branch, the generation, the governance role, and so on. And then if we go at the shareholder space, for instance, we can monitor the other type of information here. And this is all customizable, if here you wanted to put whether someone is a consultant or whether it's an external consultant for that space, or who is the legal advisor, you can do it directly here. And here, space, at the shareholder space, you can see the number of shares and so on. And this is all for what regards each space. Then there's a family space specifically that has as well the family tree that one can build. And as you can see here, our developers had fun to create a well-known family in UK. But basically, what you can do here is basically monitor really well what's the legacy of the family, what's the history, where people are, who originated basically the family wealth, and then you can monitor really, the birth of the child, whether they had a divorce or not, whether they have a dog, or whatever type of information you want to monitor. This is more pertinent for families that are large families, I guess. Obviously, smaller family, we've seen this being used less. And I can imagine though only the larger families can relate to a bit more to this. And then to make conscious of time as well, there are some other key features actually on the platform. You create a platform and so on. And for us, the key idea was, okay, how do you monitor the success of the platform? How do you monitor from a family office perspective? How's the communication going with your collaborators? How's the communication going with the platform? And so we created this concept of statistics where you can really monitor, the security. So you can see how many people are using just email to log in, how many are using the two-factor authentication, and so on. And then you can see the trends, the content that is driving more engagement, what spaces are most active. For instance, here we can see that the next gen are very little active, so maybe we have to do a better communication with them to get them engaged with the family business, to make sure that they understand what the family business is and so on. A not trained next gen is always something maybe a bit dangerous for the future of the company, or for the future of the relationship between the family and the family office itself. And then, as you can see here again, members or the activities that they do and so on. And then another key feature is this concept of vault manager. So imagine from a family office perspective specifically, you have to share files, not just with the whole family, maybe tax files just with a single family member. How do you do that? Well, the best way to do that is Vault Manager. So you create a vault. In this case, for instance, the vault between Arnaud, which is a family member, and the tax advisors. So you create it here, and here you can directly post his tax files, get him to sign them, and so on. And each member and user will have their own vault here. So here you can see all the vault I'm part of. And this is going to be separate way of sharing files than Spaces, basically. So this is super useful for multi-family offices that, for instance, they have to distribute documents to all their family members with whom they're working, or trusts where you have to send documents to trustees or so on. So it's very more organizational way to distribute those documents. And actually, we recently if you want to delve deeper into it as well, feel free to book a demo. But we recently released as well an automated way of distributing documents. So when you have 10, 15 family members, you don't want to go and create each vault for each member and then log into each vault and then distribute that document manually. So you can do that automatically, basically. So there's a way. So if you want to delve deeper into it, feel free to book a demo, and I'm happy to show you more. And then we have this concept as well, conscious of time, to make it shorter. We have this concept of member directory. So this is a super useful feature, specifically when you're dealing on a platform with multiple stakeholders, that there are quite a lot. First of all, for family members, when a family is large, you can see as well where they're located. Maybe I know when one of my next gen is going to Mexico for a trip, or maybe to open a business there and so on. And here, you know that I have a Belina, and so you can reach out to her and see what's her network there, whether she can help me and so on. And then the member directory is super useful as well if you need to do communication, with the family members. Let's say on the platform you have several members and so on. You want to filter it by age. You want to choose everyone that is younger than, maybe than 30 years old. You just put it here. And then again, here I have all the communication, and I can do the right communication with the group of next gens, for instance. And this you can tailor it, for the advisors. It can be for the senior members. It can be for only the owners and so on. So these are some very useful different features. And then specifically for family offices and especially multi-family offices or trustees, we have this concept of switch account. And this is kind of the bridge over multiple islands. And each island is one platform and or one family with whom you're working. So this helps you really well into having a centralized place where, you work with each family, and then you switch from one situation to the other directly here from this switch account. And it's a super useful one and so on. But I was realizing actually there are some questions. So I'm super keen actually to see them and answer. So what size of family offices would TF suit? Well, in this case, there are different, we've been seeing it's very different situations. Some families that they start using the platform and there are just, 5 family members plus the family office and so on. And then we've seen situations where, it's obviously more than 200-300 stakeholders using the platform. So these are very diverse situations. And what is another question I can see? What is the security level and backend infrastructure that TF is built on? So in this case, I'm not the most techy situation, but the concept is that there's a double encryption and the security level is super high. We invest actually annually really, really big part of our investments over security, and we do each year, a hacking test to see how much penetratable is the platform. And so in that way, we try really to monitor well what the security level and so on. But I'm super happy as well to go delve deeper into the topic of the backend infrastructure if you want over a call, or if you want to maybe book a demo, and so we can as well get our security team to answer that and so on. And but for us, security is paramount. The 2 founding families are fully involved still on the platform, and they're still using the platform and so on. So it was really, and as well the number of families and the type of families we're dealing with makes it paramount for us to continuously overlook security. And actually, there's another question as well regarding how you can set up the security over the platform. Well, there are different ways in terms of logging in. You can have people, if you check here, over password authentication and so on, you can enforce 2-factor authentication to everyone. Maybe you can enforce only or to all users, or for instance, only to the sensitive accounts. And sensitive accounts, for instance, are those, the platform owners, the space owners, and so on. So in that way, you can monitor well, okay, how do I set up the security and so on? Here is a way you can do it, the way you can do it, basically. And then there's another question as well. Okay, how do you drive the engagement for next gens? I mean, in this way on the platform is something that is being carried many times through a space, And it's a way of maybe you have like even just three, an next gen composed of three, and it's something that you do it directly here via space. Maybe you can start posting several quizzes. We've seen families, or maybe let me take it from this space here, but families, they do kind of build up quizzes, or the family advisor that is doing the coaching for the family or for the next gen directly do it from at the space level. So they post the quiz, they post the material, and then you can really monitor how well the next gen is engaging with it. You can like chat to them directly here from the chat and so on. And that's something that that's the way we've seen advisors working well with the next gens. Because as well, again, like when you can make questionnaires where you can like post your notes, where you can like post documents, videos, and so on. There's a whole way that to really engage well with the next gens and making sure that they receive the right documents and the right information that you want to have them to review. And obviously, I forgot to mention fully, but all that you can see here and like signing a document, reviewing them, commenting, reacting, and so on. You can do it all as well from your web app. And so that is super useful because many times we've seen clients, maybe you're on the go for a meeting or you're traveling and you need to approve a document, you to sign it and so on. And you can do it directly from the app. But now, conscious of time, already went a bit over, but I wanted to hope this was, very insightful for all of you. And if you wanna as well, like follow up, or you wanna delve deeper over some specific topic, like security structures, or some specific cases on how to use the platform, you can book a demo here directly from the website. And I recommend as well reading. We have a strong community of over 200 families, and every year, our actually customer success, they're building these business cases or testimonials for family members from other families on the way they use the platform. So I highly recommend as well to go on our website here on the family section and go and check it out because it's super super insightful and it makes you understand really how much having a digital hub really helps, driving that engagement and having all the advisors collaborating and so on, both from a family office perspective and a family business perspective, like family members perspective. Well, thank you very much for it. This was super great and exciting, and I hope you found it useful and hope to see you soon or reach out via email for anything or book a demo. Thank you.